Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about whether or not I think it's worth it to buy or subscribe to Full Self-Driving now that version 13 has gone out to the majority of Hardware 4 cars. And we're also going to touch on Hardware 3 because it's supposed to be getting a big update by the end of this year, version 12.6. And I'm going to go ahead and throw in a quick spoiler alert. I don't think that buying outright is worth it at the time, for one reason that we're going to talk about later on in the video. And I want to be clear, that does not mean that I don't love Tesla and FSD. Obviously I do, because that's what the majority of my videos are about. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the drive and I'll explain my thoughts. Now, before I can tell you whether or not I think it's worth it to buy or subscribe, there are a few things that I want to talk about. I want to briefly discuss Hardware 3 and Hardware 4, what they are, and explain so that everybody who's not maybe as familiar with it knows which one they've got in their car. I want to talk about the price of FSD at the time of filming this video, and then I want to talk about what that price gets you. So Hardware 3 and 4 are both versions of Tesla's autopilot hardware, and it's made up of the self-driving computer and then the cameras that surround the car that give it 360-degree vision. Hardware 4 is the newer, more capable version. It's got a stronger computer and higher resolution cameras, but Hardware 3 is still a very capable system. Now, the current version they're on is a little bit rough, but hopefully that'll get fixed with version 12.6. And I still have a Hardware 3 car that I'm subscribed to on myself, if that tells you anything about its capability. So you can tell which one you have by either looking through the windshield at your front cameras, or you can look at the side repeater cameras for a red glow. And if you see that red glow, you'll know that you have Hardware 4. So now that we know what those are and you know which one you've got, let's talk about the price of FSD at the time of this video. So you can either buy it outright for $8,000, or you can subscribe for $99 a month. And that gets you the software that allows your car to pretty much drive anywhere. It's not limited to pre-mapped highways or pre-mapped roads or anything like that. You can almost use it anywhere. And it requires very minimal intervention, like hardly any anymore. Now with that said, I'm not trying to tell you that it's perfect. It is very good, but there are still some issues that need to be worked through. And if you want to know what those are, I've uploaded a video recently, the good, the bad, and the ugly of version 13, and I have a bunch of other FSD videos on my channel. And something else to keep in mind as we drive, version 13 at the time has only gone out to Hardware 4 cars. We don't know when or if it's going to Hardware 3. Hardware 3 is still on version 12. So, other features that you get, you'll also get Summon, which allows you to summon your car to you through parking lots without you being in it, to pick you up from the front of stores or wherever it is that you're at. You get Auto Park, which allows you to drive through a parking lot, click on any space that you want on the screen, press a button, and the car will park itself. There's some future things coming. You'll get the ability to banish your car, which pretty much means you can pull up to the front of the store, get out of your car, press a button on your phone, and your car will go off, find a parking spot on its own, and park itself. Look at how well it's handling this. And then eventually, Auto Park is supposed to integrate with FSD. And what that'll do is when you get to a place, if you don't want to get dropped off at the front of the store, it will drive through the parking lot, find a spot, and park on its own without you even having to choose it. Now, let's go ahead and get into my opinion, but in order for you to fully understand it, we kind of got to go back in time to when I first got FSD back in April of 2023 on my Hardware 3 car. The first version I got was 11.3.5, and at the time, you could either subscribe for $200 a month, or the outright cost was $15,000. So I was subscribed at the time, and of course, I bought a Tesla. I had to have FSD and see what it was all about. I'll say I was pretty disappointed when I first got it. I had watched so many videos online of people having all these flawless drives, and I think a big part of that was just location. I'm on the east coast of Virginia, but if you were in California and Florida, you probably had a little bit different experience than me. I could hardly even make it through town without having to intervene or disengage. And like I said, I was just pretty disappointed. My expectations weren't right at the time. So back then, I definitely would not have recommended buying or subscribing to anyone unless they were a real big Tesla fanatic and they were super patient and understanding that it was still a work in progress. If that was the case, then I would recommend subscribing, but $200 a month was a steep price for how it was performing at the time. Now, as time went on, Tesla ended up lowering prices, Buying it outright went down from $15,000 a month to $12,000, which is when I bought it outright. And I don't necessarily regret doing that, but like I said earlier, and like I'll explain in a minute, I don't recommend you doing that yet. And then eventually the subscription price dropped from $200 a month down to $99 a month. And then even further on down the road, the price dropped even further from $12,000 down to $8,000 to buy it outright. So version 11, like I said, was pretty rough. I wouldn't have recommended it to anybody unless they were an FSD fanatic. But fast forward to when version 12 comes out, that was a game changer. And a lot of the issues I was having, probably 70% of the issues I had with version 11, vanished almost immediately, and the system became really usable. And that was the first moment where I really felt like, one, I could recommend people to subscribe to it, especially at the $99 a month mark. And I started feeling like, hey, unsupervised FSD is probably going to be a thing. It's going to be possible. And maybe eventually we'll even get to robotaxi. And those are kind of separate things. To me, unsupervised FSD just means that maybe I can use my phone or look at the screen and watch a video. And if there's a situation coming up that I need to be attentive for, it will tell me to pay attention for a bit, or maybe even to take over. But yeah, version 12, much improved. I felt like I could recommend it. The system was starting to become usable, and yeah. So then we'll fast forward let's talk about me buying it outright first. So version 12 came out a little bit after they started reducing the prices. And I thought what they were doing was, now that the system was getting better, they were going to get some people to subscribe to it, give it a try, and then once they realized how much better it was, they would be hooked on it and they would want to keep it. Well, like I said earlier, the joke was kind of on me with that. They ended up lowering the price even further from $12,000 down to $8,000, but like I said, I don't necessarily regret doing that. So version 12 was working really well. I was willing to recommend people to subscribe to it at that point. But let's fast forward now to version 13, which, like I said, about a week and a half ago, started going out to Hardware 4 cars. This was like a mega game changer. The system is really good now. Once again, not perfect, but the majority of the drives that I have, I'm not doing anything. It's just like what you're seeing here. I'm just sitting back and relaxing. The system is really smooth now. There's no weird steering wheel movements or things that really catch you off guard. You feel good about having passengers in the car. You don't have to worry about it doing something crazy that's going to freak them out. It's just gotten really good. And one of the upcoming features is they're going to increase the size of the training model, or the amount of data in the training model, by 3 times, which all of the minor issues we're still having now feel really manageable. But with 3 times as much data, I think the majority of them are probably going to disappear entirely. So with all of that said, do I recommend buying and subscribing? Well, subscribing, I absolutely recommend it. The system is really good. It's enjoyable to use at this point, and I don't think that you'll be disappointed spending $99 a month to subscribe to it right now. But let's talk about why I don't recommend buying it outright. There's only one reason, and that's that there is no guarantee that you can transfer it if you buy a new car. There's no guarantee you can transfer it from your current one to that. And $8,000 is a big chunk of money to invest and not be able to bring it with you to a new car. So if they ever change that policy, I would definitely recommend buying it outright. Or in about 12 months, when Hardware 5, the even more capable system, comes out, I would recommend buying it outright at that point, because I think we'll know at that point that the system's going to be capable enough for robotaxi, meaning that you're not in the car. And I do think that there is still a chance of that with Hardware 4. So that's my thoughts on buying and subscribing. I do want to talk a little bit more about Hardware 3. There's a lot of fear mongering on the internet right now that Hardware 3 is done getting updates and it's going to be so terrible and this, that, or the other. Like I said earlier, the current version is a little bit rough, but I still use it every time I'm in my Hardware 3 car. It is still a very capable system, and I do think it's going to continue to get updates. So yes, I do recommend that you subscribe on Hardware 3 as well, if that's what you've got. Now, we're getting ready to finish out the drive. I do want to say thanks to everybody that's been subscribing, watching, commenting, liking the videos. Can't tell you how much I appreciate it. We're almost at 550 subscribers, which is absolutely nuts. Please keep commenting on the videos. I love talking to everybody, and I do my best to reply to everyone. If you're in the market for a new Tesla, make sure you go over to eastcoasttesla.com. That'll bring you straight to my referral page. If you can pick up your car by December 31st, it'll get you up to $2,000 off of a new car, and it'll still get you a discount next year. We just don't know exactly how much of a discount that's going to be, but one way or another, it's definitely still worth using somebody's referral code. And like I said, we are coming up to the end of our drive, and I do have a navigation pin set to where I think the car might try to park itself, but we'll see here in just a minute. And I'm definitely interested in everybody else's opinions. Do you recommend buying or subscribing? Which method would you prefer to go? I certainly don't blame anybody if they bought it outright at $8,000. That is a pretty good price tag. You get a really awesome piece of software, and I have no room to talk. I bought it outright for $12,000. So, and like I said, I don't regret that. I just do wish that they would say that it was that you are able to transfer it anytime that you buy a new car. Because like I said, $8,000, $12,000, that's a lot of money. So here we come up to the end of the drive. Let's see what the car does. Will it try to park itself? I think it's going to. All right, looks like it's going to pull itself up into this next spot. So, was that the best parking job? No, but it did make a good effort to park itself. And parking's also not a fully integrated feature yet. That's also one of the upcoming things that you're going to get if you buy or subscribe. But anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next video.